Here we go. All right, guys. So now, so what we want to do is we want to review for the rest of the kids in class that are not ready for this topic right now. So I need you guys your help on this. All right. So one of the things we talked about this week and last week were the ingredients needed to make a cell. Okay. What are these ingredients? Does anybody have any idea?
Glucose, lipids, proteins, nucleic acids.
All right, so I heard glucose, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acids. Very good. Nucleic acids. Very good. Now, okay, now hopefully Osvaldo's not the only one carrying this whole group right now. Okay, Juan Gomez, do you remember what lipids are used for when you're building a cell? So if I told you, build me a cell, and here are your 4 ingredients, right? Do you remember what the lipids are used for?
Aren't they like on the outside of the cell?
There you go. Very good. So the lipids are what forms think of like the walls or the gate or the walls, okay? So because the cell literally has to have like just like your house has to have walls, right? To separate the outside from the inside, a cell has to have walls as well. It's formed by these molecules called lipids. And so that separates the inside from the outside. Does that make sense? So that's good. Good job. Okay, now do you guys remember what glucose is for? What's that used for? Very good. Energy, right? So if you guys remember, okay, glucose, okay, is this molecule that was built by plants, right? And that's why I put it green, because it was built by plants, right? And so when we eat a plant, okay, we're eating glucose. Very good. And that glucose gives the cell energy, or ATP. Very good. Now, what are the proteins? What do the proteins do, Efren? Do you remember?
Won't they give it like energy?
No. The glucose is what gives cells the ability to make energy. What do the proteins do? Brandon, what do you think? Huh?
Codes or something? I don't know.
Oh, you're close. That's what you guys can't get lost in, okay? In that idea. Okay, Osvaldo, tell everybody what the proteins were.
Don't the proteins make like the little organelles inside the cells? Like little factories?
No. Proteins, think of remember I always talked about proteins like apps on a phone. Do you guys remember me saying that? You remember that, Juan? Apps on a phone, right? So like a phone has different types of apps. Every app is different. How many apps do you think you have on your phone, Juan?
Maybe like over 50.
Okay, and why do you have 50 apps? How come you just don't have one?
Because they're all for different things.
Exactly. And so cells have a bunch of different proteins because the proteins are for different things. Does that make sense? Right? And so that's why I always think of proteins like apps. All right. And so on a phone, right? And so the cell has all these proteins, and some of the proteins, okay, all the proteins look different. Okay, but they're all called proteins because they're made out of the same type of molecules, but they look different. They're different, all right? And so that's what they do. They do different things, right? Or they're for different things. Proteins are for different things. Okay, now, finally, nucleic acids. What is that, Brandon? Do you remember? Ortega? You just window shopping today? Or are you participating?
Nucleic acids.
Yeah. Why are they important? Big B, you're disappointing me, Big B. Big B, go to your breakout room and watch that video again. All right. Okay. Now, anybody else? Can you tell me what the nucleic acids? Why are they important? Brayden, tell me.
They make DNA.
No. Okay. No. Okay. It's like basically. It's like me saying. It's like me saying this. Let me see. It's like me saying, okay, why are hamburgers important? And you said, because they make hamburgers. Does that make sense? That don't make any sense, right? Hamburgers are important because they give us nutrition, right? Okay, like and so that's not why they're important. Okay, Gomez, why nucleic acid is important?
Don't they store all our genes?
Exactly, they store our codes, right? Okay, think of nucleic acids like memory cards. That's what they do. Okay, they're memory cards, and what they store in their memory are the codes that the cell needs. So what are the two? So we learned about two types of nucleic acids. Okay, we learned about two types of nucleic acids. What are those two types of memory cards? Memory molecules. Think of nucleic acids like memory molecules. Okay, that's what they're there for, to memorize stuff, to store the codes. What are the two, Efren?
What was that?
Come on, man, go to your breakout room. You're not gonna pay attention.
Oh, I was trying to get my notes out. That's why.
Come on, man. What are the two types of nucleic acids, people? Anybody?
DNA and
RNA.
Very good. DNA and RNA. Excellent. Very good. Very good, right? So these are the two types of nucleic acids, right? Now, if we think of DNA and RNA, okay, like a brick house, all right? So think of this like a brick house and think of this like a brick house. All right? A brick house. So what do you need to build a brick house? What do you need to build a brick house?
Bricks.
Bricks, right? But DNA and RNA are not really brick houses. They're big molecules. Okay? These guys, both of these guys are big molecules. And big molecules are made up of smaller molecules. Right? So in other words, what are the bricks that you need to build DNA and RNA?
Nucleotides.
Exactly. Very good. And so that's what the video was about. Okay? The video was about you guys understanding this molecule called a nucleotide. And the reason why these are important is because these nucleotides come together to form these two big molecules called RNA and DNA. Okay, give me a thumbs up if you got that. Give me a thumbs up if you're good with this, right? So that's where we're at with this. What do we know about nucleotides? Since we know that they're molecules, what else do we know? What else do we know, Efren? Before I send you to a breakout room.
Don't they have like 3 parts?
Yes, they have 3 parts, but because nucleotides are molecules, we know that they're made out of what?
Like they're made out of tiny molecules.
Well, what are all molecules made out of?
Tiny molecules. Like,
No, this is a tiny molecule. All molecules are made out of what, people?
Atoms.
Atoms, very good. Atoms. Exactly. Right? And so somehow, right, in nature, there's these atoms. Think about how amazing this is, okay? Think about this, Braden, Juan Gomez, check it out. Look how amazing this is, okay? Somehow in nature, all by its little self, all right? Unless there's like some, some super being that we don't know about. Atoms came together to form these very special molecules called nucleotides. And then somehow these molecules evolved in a way where they came together and formed these two huge molecules that literally act like memory molecules, because they store information for these living things called cells. Like, think about how crazy that is. How the heck does that process? It's like a computer coming together and building itself on its own, right? How does that happen? Right? It's nuts. So a cell has this molecule called DNA that literally is like the memory of the cell, right? Because it stores codes. It stores codes inside of it. And those codes are used for what, Braden? What are those codes used for?
To make up a cell.
No, it's already in the cell. The cell is here, Pop. Here is the cell. What are those codes used for?
To develop your traits.
Well, remember, go back to our cell phone analogy. Remember cell phones? You need codes so that you can have what?
Apps or proteins.
Exactly. So what are the codes in DNA used for? So the cell can make what?
Protein.
The proteins, exactly. So it can have all its apps. And why does it have so many thousands of codes? Well, think about your phone. Why do you have 50 apps?
Because they're all for different things.
Exactly. You want to use your cell phone for a bunch of different things. The cell also needs a lot of different things done inside of it to stay alive. And so that's why our DNA has lots and lots of codes, okay, which you have correctly called genes. Very good. Okay, that's where we're at. This right here is the big picture. The big picture, right? And remember yesterday I told you, how come you guys are not becoming millionaires by building apps that sell for $1, and then you sell a million apps for $1, you're a millionaire. Why don't you guys do that?
Because we don't understand the coding.
Exactly, right? But if you listen to me and you learn the DNA coding, then you potentially can become a trillionaire. A trillionaire. Because then you'll understand the coding in humans, in living things. And if you get super good and you go into the right profession, you can become a DNA coder and learn and manipulate codes in DNA to solve cancer, to solve diabetes, okay, to manipulate DNA in a way that can help humans and cancer. Think about it. How many people have cancer?
A ton of people.
Millions of people, right? Millions. So how much do you think people are going to pay for a cure for cancer?
Trillions.
Exactly, right? You want to be a trillionaire, solve trillion dollar problems, right? And that's why you are learning this, because this is a door into a world where you potentially can step into, okay, and do something super dope. Okay, got it? And so that's why I love teaching this part. Okay, when we get to DNA, and that's why I teach it to you in the molecule way, because you guys can have a super duper good understanding. All right. Okay. Because think about it, right? Imagine this right here, this cell was a breast cancer cell, right? Or something. And imagine that this piece of DNA right here had a code that would give you cancer. Essentially, what you could do is you can take this code, right? Cut it out, right? And so now you took it out, and then now it's no longer there, right? It's no longer there. Let me erase it. Now it's no longer there, and you can replace it with a different code that wouldn't give you cancer. Does that make sense? People are doing that right now. There's companies doing that are literally working in that type of that code. Like, so you got the coders of the computers, you got the coders of the humans, of human beings, of living things. It's pretty neat. So now we got to learn about the code, okay? So the code starts by knowing what a nucleotide is. So you can't understand the code and how it works unless you know what a nucleotide is, right? How many parts does a nucleotide have, Efren?
3 parts.
3 parts. Very good. Okay, phosphate group, 5 carbon sugar, nitrogenous base. All nucleotides have these 3 parts. Okay, does that make sense? So you should understand that from the get-go. That was the video. So remember, these are small molecules, and you need these molecules to make these huge molecules. That's super important. Does that make sense? How many nucleotides did I draw? How many nucleotides do I have on the screen right now?
1.
1 nucleotide. Very good. See, that's a dumb question, but like it's like oh my god, like is it 3? No, remember, it takes 3 things to build 1 nucleotide, right? It's like a car, right? Okay, just because I need 4 tires, I need 4 doors, and I need an engine, and I need the body, right, to build a car. Same thing, these small molecules have 3 parts. How do they come together? Oh, well, what does that molecule actually look like in real life? Remember your molecule training from the first semester, right? Here's a nucleotide and what it looks like. So if we were in class together, you guys would actually have built this molecule with the kits that I have in class. All right. This is the phosphate group. It's made out of 4 oxygen atoms, a phosphorus atom, and then this guy is connected to a carbon atom. So these this carbon atom is connected to this thing right here that's not shown, and then that one's connected to this, and then this one's connected to here, and then this is connected to here, forming the ring. Okay, what are these dots what atoms are these that in blue?
Carbon. Carbon.
Carbon atoms, exactly, right? And so this right here is the phosphate group. Here is the 5 carbon sugar. Why is it called a 5 carbon sugar? Because it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbons. What sugar is this?
Glucose.
No, it's not glucose. Come on. What sugar is this? Glucose is for making ATP. This is a different sugar. Huh?
Pentose sugar.
It is a pentose sugar. Duh, that pentose means 5. I just said that. But what is the name of this pentose sugar? If you know the answer, you're legit.
Isn't it like deoxyribose?
Very good. Why is it deoxyribose?
Because it's the sugar group.
Okay, what makes it deoxyribose though?
It has oxygen.
Well, yes, but what if I have an extra oxygen there? What sugar is it now? See, you guys didn't catch that on the video, right? It's all right though. But the whole point is, we'll talk more about this on a later day. But the whole idea is that, yes, this thing is a sugar. And then this thing right here is that nitrogenous base. This is the part that's the most important part of the molecule, because this is where the code, this is how we build the code. This part of the molecule helps us build the code. Okay, and we'll talk about more about that later. See that? And so you literally, if you guys had a kit, you guys can literally build this molecule. Does that make sense? And if you're interested in building it, let me know and I can get you guys a kit so that you can build it. All right, makes sense? So pretty neat, huh? And then finally, check it out. This is a diagram of a nucleic acid, right? All right. Notice, nucleotides, Efren, have how many parts?
What was that? How many parts do nucleotides have?
Yes.
Isn't it like 4, 3?
Oh my God. Juan Gomez, how many parts does a nucleotide have? 3, very good, right? A phosphate group, a sugar, nitrogenous base. So this right here is one nucleotide. This is another nucleotide. This is another nucleotide. This is another nucleotide. Another nucleotide. Another nucleotide. See that? That's a string of nucleotides. And on the other side, there's more nucleotides. See that? Look at all these nucleotides. So literally I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on each side. So there's 12 nucleotides that make up this molecule. What is this whole thing called?
DNA.
Very good. Excellent job, because there's 2 strands, right? And so hopefully you guys understood that from the video as well. Okay, so that's where we're at right now, guys. And so the first part is really understanding the big picture, and do you understand what a nucleotide is? All right, makes sense, yes or no? You guys feel good about this? Let's see if Efren was paying attention. Efren, what are the 4 ingredients to making a cell?
What are the 4 ingredients? Nucleic acids, glucose, lipids, and proteins.
Okay, make sure you know what those are for, what they're used for, okay? What is a nucleotide, Efren?
Nucleotide, isn't it atoms?
Juan Gomez, what's a nucleotide?
It's used to make DNA.
Yes, but what is it? Brayden, what is it?
A molecule.
It's a molecule, man. It's a molecule. All right, and what does it look like, right? You better know that for tomorrow's test. What family of molecules do DNA and RNA belong to?
Macromolecules.
They are macromolecules. They're very big, but they belong to a very specific family of macromolecules. What family?
Nucleic acids.
The nucleic acid family, exactly. Because if you look, check it out. Look, check it out. It's just like you, Brayden. Look, Brayden, you belong to the Ramirez family. Juan, you belong to the Gomez family. Osvaldo belongs to the Quinn family. DNA, D is the first name, and A is the last name, deoxyribonucleic acid. R is the first name, Na is the family name, nucleic acids. Both of these guys are nucleic acids, right? They're cousins, and why are they cousins? Because they're built from the same type of smaller molecule. Okay, does that make sense? And then finally, why do cells need nucleic acids, Efren?
Why do they need nucleic acids?
Yeah, why do cells need nucleic acids?
Because like don't they called like store Memory. It's like a memory memory
Wh-
card.
Yeah, they store what? What do they store in their memory?
Like DNA, apps, and genes.
Oh, bro, man, you better watch this video all over again. I'm gonna post it on YouTube for you guys, okay? And you need to watch it again. Okay, Braden, tell Efren what DNA, why nucleic acids are important.
To make proteins.
Yes, but how do they help make proteins?
By
What do they store?
codes.
Codes. Okay, codes. And if we don't have those codes, we don't have the proteins. Just like your phone. If you don't download the right code, then you don't have the app that you need to do what you want with your phone. It's the same concept. Same way, but at a molecular level. Okay? Any questions on this, guys? Any questions? All right.